step into the velvet shadows of the deep forest, where the air is cool and smells of ancient pine and damp earth. Let us prepare your quiet cocoon for the night. Dim the glow of the waking world. Let your screens fade into black, and set your gentle timers. Secure your resting space, allowing the deep, slow rhythm of the night to hold you safely. If you wish to return to these quiet woods, you might plant a seed of support by subscribing, ensuring this tranquil sanctuary remains waiting for you. Whenever you need to retreat, give yourself the ultimate permission to lay down the heavy armor of today, the endless motion, the noise, the constant demands. They have no place here in the mossy depth. You do not need to figure anything out right now. You only need to rest. Draw in a slow breath of the fragrant night air. And then let it wash out of you in a long, endless, sighing release that softens your weary shoulders and melts away the tight tension in your chest. Breathe in the cool silver mist. And slowly, gently, steadily breathe out all the lingering echoes of the day, letting the breath travel far into the distant woods until there is nothing left but quiet. The stillness here is safe, and it will hold you securely long after you drift away. Welcome to the deep forest. Tonight, we will walk with the moth. His name was Lorian, a pale lunar moth with delicate wings, the colour of frosted sea glass. He lived high in the sweeping canopy of an ancient weeping willow tree, where the long, trailing leaves draped like soft emerald curtains against the midnight sky. Lorian was a creature of intricate, subtle beauty. His wide, elegant wings were dusted with a fine silver powder that shimmered faintly when the moonlight caught the edges of the swaying branches. Two exquisite antennae, shaped like the softest, most delicate ferns, swept back from his head. They were highly sensitive instruments, feeling every subtle shift in the cool night breeze, every drop of heavy dew forming on the leaves, every low murmur of the forest floor far below. Usually, the forest was a place of slow, deliberate rhythms. The grand old trees swayed in a hypnotic, rhythmic dance, and the distant rivers hummed a deep, endless lullaby that vibrated gently through the bark. Lorian loved the gentle, muted beauty of his home. He loved the way the evening mist rolled in over the moss, creating a soft, silencing blanket that muffled the chaotic sounds of the waking world. In the quiet moments, he felt perfectly in tune with the slow, deep breathing of the earth. His delicate, weightless body was designed to glide through the cool, calm air with effortless grace. He was meant to be a quiet observer of the deep shadows, navigating only by the steady, reliable, and gentle glow of the silver moon. But lately, Lorian had forgotten how to rest in the shadows. A strange, relentless restlessness had taken hold of his mind. Across the wide valley, a patch of restless, flickering bioluminescence had bloomed on a dying log. It was a dense cluster of strange, glowing fungi that pulsed with an erratic, rapid, and demanding rhythm. The light was not warm or steady like the familiar moon. It was a piercing, wavering glow that seemed to pull at Lorian with a confusing, magnetic urgency. He felt an intense, overwhelming need to fly toward it, to keep moving, to keep his wings fluttering constantly around the edges of the restless light. He had slowly become afraid of the quiet, empty dark. Whenever he found himself resting in a still, shaded hollow of the willow tree, a flutter of deep unease would ripple through his delicate body. He convinced himself that if he stopped moving, if he rested in the profound stillness, he would somehow lose his way entirely. He believed he needed the constant, overwhelming distraction of the flickering light just to feel secure. And so Lorian kept flying. Night after endless night, he circled the pulsing, chaotic fungi. The air around the glowing cluster was dry, thin, and hollow. It offered absolutely no comfort. His beautiful sea glass wings grew heavy, stiff, and deeply weary. The fine silver dust that coated them began to thin and fade from the endless, exhausting friction of his frantic motion. His feathered antennae, meant to sense the gentle, slow shifts of the wind, were overwhelmed and confused by the constant, chaotic signals of the rapid, pulsing light. He was entirely, deeply exhausted. Yet he pushed his tiny body to keep fluttering. The deep fear of stillness kept his tiny muscles tight, strained, and painfully tense. He actively avoided the deep, rich, velvety patches of pure shadow beneath the ancient, twisting roots. He looked at those dark, silent spaces and imagined them to be empty, cold, and lonely, when in truth they were ancient, welcoming sanctuaries, offering deep, restorative rest. the wind began to grow heavy, with damp, cooling mist signaling the approach of the deepest hours of the night. The temperature slowly dropped, turning the air cool, dense, and thick. The erratic light he had been desperately chasing began to blur in the thickening fog, becoming scattered, distant, and even more confusing. Lorian was caught in a continuous, unyielding loop of seeking, his wings beating in a desperate, tiring rhythm that drained his remaining energy. He was running entirely on the nervous, fragile energy of avoidance. Every single time he tried to pause for a moment, the sheer fear of the heavy quiet would pull him right back into the empty air. He was a creature designed for graceful, slow, intentional gliding. Now caught in an exhausting, endless dance of overstimulation, his tiny heart beat rapidly against his thorax, and his breathing was shallow, quick, and unfulfilling. He was simply too tired to keep flying, but too afraid to stop and let go. Eventually, the heavy mist transformed into a gentle, steady, and rhythmic drizzle. The cool, heavy moisture clung to Lorian and his delicate wings, making them far too heavy to sustain his frantic, endless fluttering. His strength finally completely faded. He could no longer fight the steady, inevitable pull of gravity. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, he began to spiral downward through the cool mist. He drifted far away from the chaotic, pulsing light, descending deep into the untouched, silent shadows of the forest floor. He guided himself instinctively toward a massive, ancient oak root, blanketed in a thick, luxurious layer of plush, silver-tipped moss. As his tiny legs touch down on the soft, forgiving surface, something fundamental shifted within him. He did not immediately tense up or try to take flight again. Instead, he gave in to a profound, full-body surrender. He let his weary, trembling legs unspool, completely releasing their frantic, clinging grip on the well. He felt the soft, spongy moss rise up to meet him, perfectly cushioning his exhausted, fragile body. Very slowly, he lowered his delicate, sea glass wings, letting them rest completely flat and heavy against the cool, damp green surface. He stopped holding them tense and rigid, allowing the subtle, tired muscles in his thorax to completely soften, loosen, and give way. He felt the dense, velvety darkness fold over him like a heavy, protective, and deeply comforting blanket. He had spent so long fearing this stillness, but now that he was entirely enveloped in it, he realized it was not empty at all. It was deeply, physically comforting. It was a space of absolute healing. The cool, humid air washed over him, instantly soothing his overheated body. The complete, absolute absence of harsh, flickering light allowed his overstimulated antennae to relax completely, curling slightly inward as they no longer needed to frantically scan the air for danger or distraction. He let his entire body weight sink heavily and fully into the deep moss. He realized that the darkness was not a void, but a quiet, ancient guardian that asked nothing of him. He did not need to perform. He did not need to search. He did not need to move. The moss was cool against his underside, withdrawing the lingering fever of his overstimulation down into the endless, silent roots of the oak. His breathing slowed, matching the long, slow, imperceptible breaths of the ancient trees surrounding him. The gentle rhythm of the drizzle above played a soft, soothing lullaby against the canopy, a sound that wrapped around him and sealed him safely within his quiet haven. The frantic need for the light was entirely gone, replaced by a deep, profound gratitude for the restorative shadow. He felt the damp earth slowly absorb all the lingering, nervous vibrations of his anxiety. The tight knot of fear in his center unraveled, dissolving into the soft soil beneath him. With every slow, deepening and gentle breath, he surrendered another heavy layer of tension, letting the quiet, beautiful dark hold him entirely, perfectly safe, perfectly still. Like Lorian settling onto the plush moss, you too have reached a place of complete sanctuary. The frantic fluttering of your own weary wings can finally cease. The deep shadow is here to protect you, offering a quiet space where nothing is demanded of you. Your mind has been chasing flickering light all day, caught in an endless loop of overstimulation and fear of the quiet. It is natural to feel that lingering nervous energy, but you no longer need to fear the stillness. You do not need to figure anything out or achieve sleep. Let the need for distraction dissolve into the cool earth. Let the darkness hold you. I soften into the safe shadow, I soften into the safe shadow. I soften into the safe shadow. Let your awareness rest gently at the very top of your head, imagining the crown softening, releasing the invisible grip of constant alertness. Just like the delicate, fern-like antennae of the pale moth, curling inward, no longer seeking the chaotic signals of the day. You can allow the skin covering your scalp to loosen completely. Feel the deeply rooted tension unspooling, strand by strand, melting down into the soft fabric of your resting place. The air around you is thick with calming mist, gently whispering that the time for vigilance has entirely passed. You do not need to process any more information. The quiet night has drawn a soft curtain around your mind, inviting you to simply be. Slowly bring your gentle attention down to your forehead, letting it smooth out like an undisturbed pool of dark water, hidden deep within the silent forest. Focus now on the deep, heavy space behind your eyes. These eyes have absorbed so much flickering light, so much demanding motion from the waking world. Allow them to stop searching. Let the tiny, tired muscles surrounding them completely surrender. Letting your eyes sink deeper into the comforting, velvety darkness. They do not need to look outward anymore. The shadow here is a healing balm, a cool, soothing compress, resting gently over your weary vision, inviting you to simply be blind to the world of tasks and endless expectations. Let the heavy lids rest without fluttering. Perfectly still. Perfectly calm. Drift further down into your jaw, a place where so much unspoken stress is held tight. A place where you brace against the overwhelming noise. Give your jaw full permission to unhinge slightly, letting your lips part in a quiet, subtle breath of pure relief. Feel the heavy, dense muscle of your tongue dropping away from the roof of your mouth. Let it rest loosely, fully relaxing in the quiet cradle of your lower jaw. As your tongue softens, notice how the rushing thoughts in your mind begin to slow their frantic pace, fading into a low, distant murmur. The need to respond, to speak, to react dissolves completely into the damp, silencing moss beneath you. You are free from the burden of communication. Follow the slow, melting sensation down the back of your neck, feeling the rigid muscles turning to soft, yielding clay under the gentle touch of the night air. Let this deep release flow outward into your shoulders. Imagine your shoulders are the heavy sea glass wings of the weary moth, finally allowed to lay completely flat against the moss. You have carried the heavy burden of constant motion for so long, keeping those wings tense and ready to flutter at a moment's notice. Let them drop now. Let the deep gravity of the earth pull your shoulders down into the mattress. Sinking deeper, heavier, completely supported by the ancient, quiet strength beneath you. Every ounce of effort simply drains away, leaving you beautifully heavy. Breathe deeply into the center of your chest. The small fluttering heart that beat so rapidly against the overwhelming demands of the day can now find its natural, slow and steady rhythm. There is no urgency here in the shadows. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your ribs, moving like the slow, rhythmic swaying of the old willow branches in the midnight breeze. With every long, sighing exhale, feel the tight knot of nervous energy in your chest slowly untangle. The center of your being is softening, becoming a vast, calm, and peaceful hollow, where only deep rest resides. The air you breathe is cool and pure, cleansing away the frantic dust of your endless seeking. Let this profound stillness pour down your arms, traveling slowly through your upper arms, pooling warmly in your elbows, flowing through your wrists and down into your hands. Your hands have grasped and held on to so many things, desperately trying to manage the chaotic life and the endless tasks of your day. Let your fingers curl inward naturally, resting gently like delicate leaves, curled gracefully in the heavy night dew. Feel a soothing, glowing warmth begin to gather deeply in the palms of your hands. This warmth is the quiet, grounding energy of the deep forest floor, assuring you that you are anchored, safe, and perfectly held by the sheltering shadows. You do not need to hold on to anything anymore. Let your awareness glide smoothly down the long expanse of your back, feeling every single vertebra settling heavily and comfortably into the surface below. The deep, weary muscles of your spine release their tight, exhausting hold, melting into the soft earth. Allow your belly to be completely soft, rising and falling without restriction, armor, or effort. Let the heavy basin of your pelvis sink deeply into the bed. Any lingering fear of stillness, any sudden urge to move, to fix, or escape, simply drains away from your center, absorbed quietly by the cool, forgiving earth. You are entirely permitted to take up this space, to sink into the deep comfort of profound inaction. The long journey of relaxation travels down into your legs, flowing smoothly down through your heavy thighs, softening the delicate joints of your knees and melting slowly into the soft calves. The weary limbs that carried you through the overwhelming noise and the endless rushing are now completely free from their duties. They are unspooling, loosening, melting entirely into the welcoming shadows. Feel the soothing wave reach your ankles, smoothing out your heels, and finally arriving at the soles of your feet. a deep, comforting warmth pools heavily in your feet. A brilliant, grounding sensation that completely tethers you to the safe, unmoving foundation of the ancient forest. Your entire body is resting now, heavy, warm, and entirely surrendered to the quiet, beautiful dark. Cocooned in pure stillness. You are entirely safe in this beautiful shadow. Held by the ancient woods. The need for the light has completely faded away. Leaving only a quiet, deep peace. Drifting deeper deeper completely at rest in the heart of the forest. Good night.